You know, life has a way of throwing us into battles we never thought we'd face. And sometimes those battles are not against armies or mountains. They're against a force so subtle, so cunning, it creeps into the soul and shakes the very foundation of who we are. I'm talking about the battle a woman faces when confronted by a narcissist. This is a spiritual war, one that challenges your faith, your strength, and your identity. But here's the truth: no matter how dark the storm, no matter how loud the voices trying to convince you otherwise, there's a fire inside you. A divine light that no narcissist can extinguish. Let me break this down for you, because this fight isn't just about survival, it's about rising up, reclaiming your power, and standing firm in the spirit God gave you. ChatGPT said, "You ever notice how sometimes the hardest battles aren't the ones you can see? It's not always about the bruises on the outside or the scars you wear openly. Sometimes the fight is quiet, unseen, but it rages deep within the soul. When a woman faces a narcissist, she steps into a war zone that's spiritual at its core. And I'm not just talking about someone who's difficult or selfish. No, this is a whole different level. It's a battle for your very spirit, your peace, your sense of self. You're fighting against manipulation that's designed to break you down from the inside out. See, the narcissist doesn't just want to control your actions or your words. What they want, what they desperately need, is to control your mind, your heart, your very identity. They want to rewrite your story, drown out your voice, and make you question everything you once believed about yourself. And that's why this battle is spiritual. Because when you're in the thick of it, it can feel like you're wrestling with shadows, with something darker than just human weakness. But here's the key: recognizing this as a spiritual battle changes everything. It means you're not just dealing with someone's toxic behavior, you're facing a force that attacks your soul's foundation. And that means the tools you bring to the fight have to be different. This isn't a battle you win with anger or bitterness. You don't conquer this by trying to outsmart or overpower. No, this fight calls for something deeper: faith, discernment, prayer, and an unshakable belief in your own worth. Think about it. When you're caught up in this storm, it's easy to get lost in confusion. You might start doubting your own perception because the narcissist is skilled at twisting the truth. They'll tell you one thing, then do another. They'll gaslight you, make you feel like you're the one who's crazy, unstable, or unlovable. And when that happens, the spiritual battle intensifies because now your inner peace is at stake. You've got to understand that these tactics aren't random or accidental. They're part of a larger scheme to weaken you spiritually. And if you don't recognize that, you might respond in ways that feed the cycle. Maybe you try harder to please, or you shrink back and hide your light. But neither of those paths brings freedom. Instead, recognizing the spiritual nature of this battle opens the door for you to fight it differently. This is where faith becomes your weapon. Not just the faith in something out there, but faith in the power that lives inside you. The strength given to you to withstand trials and emerge stronger. Faith that tells you this battle doesn't define you. Faith that reminds you of your inherent value and dignity. When you hold on to that, you stop being a victim of the narcissist's story. You begin to reclaim your own. And it's more than just faith in yourself. It's faith in a higher power that's always fighting on your side. A power that sees the battle in the unseen realm and will fight for you even when you feel weak. That's why prayer matters. It's your line of communication, your way to stay connected to the source of strength that no narcissist can touch. Prayer brings clarity when confusion tries to cloud your mind. It brings peace when anxiety and fear try to take hold. It's a spiritual lifeline. But even more than prayer, discernment becomes your shield. You've got to learn to see through the lies, the manipulations, the smoke and mirrors. That's not easy. Narcissists are masters at deception. They wear masks that fool even the closest people around them. But when you sharpen your spiritual discernment, you begin to recognize the patterns, the red flags, the subtle digs that aren't just personality flaws but calculated attacks on your soul. And when you combine faith, prayer, and discernment, you create a fortress around your spirit. It doesn't mean the battle disappears, but it means you're no longer powerless in it. You start standing taller because you know who you are beneath the attacks, a person of worth, of purpose, a light that no darkness can overcome. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were losing yourself in someone else's chaos? Like you were drowning in their storm and didn't know how to swim back to shore? That's exactly where this spiritual battle can bring you. But it's also where the turning point happens. When you begin to see the battle for what it really is, you can step out of victimhood and into victory. You don't have to walk this path blindfolded or alone. Recognize the battlefield. Understand that this fight is real, but you are equipped. You are more than the lies you've been told. You are stronger than the chains that try to bind you. And this spiritual battle, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your triumph. So I want you to take a moment now and really feel that power inside you. That's your spirit rising. That's your faith growing. That's the beginning of your freedom. And if you've ever felt alone in this fight, know this: you are not. There's a whole army of hearts and prayers behind you, standing with you, believing in you? Who here is ready to see the battlefield clearly and step into the fight with eyes wide open? Who is ready to reclaim their spirit and walk out of the darkness into the light that's been waiting for them all along? Because the battle is fierce, but so is your fire. And that fire, my friend, cannot be put out. You ever stop and think about how much power there is in the simple act of guarding your heart? Not just guarding it from strangers or obvious threats, but guarding it fiercely, intentionally, like it's the most precious thing you own, because it is. Your heart isn't just a physical muscle pumping blood, it's the seat of your soul, the core of your being, where your emotions, your faith, your identity live. And when you're in a battle against a narcissist, guarding that heart becomes not just important, it becomes essential. See, a narcissist's game is to get inside your heart, to chip away at your self-worth little by little until you start to believe the lies they whisper over and over. You start thinking maybe you're not enough, maybe you don't deserve love, maybe you're the problem. And that's the real danger. Letting those poisonous seeds take root inside you. That's why guarding your heart is not just a suggestion, it's a spiritual command. The wisdom that says, above all else, guard your heart isn't just ancient advice, it's a life-saving truth. Because your heart is vulnerable, yes, but it's also powerful. It's where faith is born, where courage rises, where hope lives. So if you let it be invaded, if you let it be trampled on, you risk losing all that. But what does it look like to guard your heart? It's not about building walls that keep everyone out. No, it's about being wise with whom you let in. It's about recognizing when someone's words or actions are toxic, manipulative, or draining, and refusing to accept those attacks as your truth. It's about protecting your peace like a warrior protecting a treasure. You see, the narcissist thrives on chaos. They feed on confusion and pain because it gives them control. And every time you let them invade your heart without resistance, you hand them more power over your spirit. But when you guard your heart, you take that power back. You say, I will not be broken. I will not be diminished. And that declaration alone can shift the entire battle. Now, guarding your heart doesn't mean you become cold or disconnected. It means you become fiercely loving, especially to yourself. It means you treat your heart with the same kindness and respect you would give to a child or a friend who's hurting, because your heart deserves that. You deserve that. And here's something else. When you guard your heart, you start to see clearly. The lies start to lose their grip. You begin to recognize manipulation for what it is. You realize that the hurtful words and actions directed at you are not reflections of your worth, but reflections of the narcissist's own brokenness. This clarity is powerful. It frees you from the trap of blame and self-doubt. It allows you to hold on to your dignity even when someone is trying to take it away. And dignity, my friend, is something no one can steal if you hold it tight. Think about the times you felt your heart wounded by harsh words or betrayal. How easy is it to fall into the trap of believing those wounds are permanent? But guarding your heart means knowing that wounds can heal, and healing is a spiritual process. It means refusing to let those wounds define you or dictate your future. And it's in that refusal that your power lies. Because the moment you decide to guard your heart, you're declaring that you're bigger than the pain. You're saying that your spirit is unbreakable, that your faith in yourself and in God is stronger than any attack. It takes courage to guard your heart in this way. It takes discipline. But the reward is freedom. Freedom from the chains of manipulation, from the prison of self-doubt, from the darkness of despair. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. Guarding your heart is not selfish. It's an act of love, not just for yourself, but for those who care about you. When you protect your heart, you're able to give love more fully because you're not operating out of brokenness or fear. You're coming from a place of strength and wholeness. And that kind of love is transformative. It changes relationships. It changes communities. It changes lives. So I ask you, how well are you guarding your heart today? Are you allowing toxic voices to speak over your spirit? Are you giving away your peace to someone who doesn't deserve it? Or are you standing firm, protecting your inner sanctuary with everything you've got? Remember, the heart is where your life flows from. Guard it, protect it, treasure it. Because in that sacred space lies your true power, your true peace, your true self. Who here is ready to guard their heart like the priceless treasure it is? Who's ready to stop letting anyone dim their light or shake their faith? Because when you guard your heart, you guard your destiny. And that, my friend, changes everything. You know, there's something powerful about the word no. It's simple, straightforward, just 2 letters. But when it comes to fighting a spiritual battle against a narcissist, saying no is nothing short of a revolutionary act. It might sound small or easy, but for many women caught in that web, saying no is like raising a flag of war. It's standing up and saying, enough is enough. I am not your pawn. I am not yours to manipulate. Saying no becomes a spiritual act, a declaration that you will not be broken down by someone who sees your worth as less than it truly is. Here's the thing. Narcissists are masters at pushing boundaries. They don't just cross the line, they erase it. They want you to forget that you even had boundaries in the first place. They want to confuse you into thinking that you owe them everything, your time, your energy, your love, your peace. And often women caught in these battles struggle with this. They feel guilty for setting limits. They think saying no means they are being unloving, unkind, or even selfish. But I'm here to tell you something different. Saying no, setting boundaries, protecting yourself is the most loving thing you can do. Not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. When you say no to a narcissist's demands or manipulation, you're doing more than just drawing a line in the sand. You're reclaiming your power. You're reminding yourself that your life is yours to live on your terms. Boundaries are not about punishment or rejection. They are about protection. Protection of your soul, your spirit, your heart. And that protection is holy. It's sacred. Think about it like this. When you don't set boundaries, you leave the door wide open for chaos, confusion, and pain. The narcissist walks right in and takes over the space that should belong to you alone. But when you say no, when you put up that boundary, it's like building a wall around your spirit, a shield against the toxic attacks designed to tear you down. And I know sometimes saying no feels like you're stepping into unfamiliar territory. Maybe you grew up in a home where saying no wasn't allowed. Maybe you were taught to always be nice or accommodating no matter what. But here's the truth: boundaries are not about being rude or unkind. They are about self-respect. They are about honoring the divine creation that you are. When you say no, you're saying yes to yourself, yes to your healing, yes to your peace, yes to your future. And that yes is loud, clear, and powerful. But here's the thing: boundaries aren't just a one-time event. They're a practice. You have to build the muscle. It's like exercising a part of your spirit that's been weak for too long. At first, saying no might feel uncomfortable or even scary. You might worry about rejection, conflict, or loneliness. But the more you practice, the stronger you get. The more you say no to what harms you, the more space you create for what heals you. And boundaries don't just protect you from the narcissist. They protect you from losing yourself in the process. Because one of the worst things a narcissist can do is make you question your worth or blur your sense of who you are. Boundaries bring clarity. They remind you that you are a whole person deserving of respect, love, and kindness. And it's not just about the big things either. Boundaries show up in everyday life, in what you allow others to say to you, how you protect your time and energy, how you refuse to tolerate disrespect or manipulation. Every time you stand up for yourself, every time you say no, you are practicing spiritual warfare. You are fighting for your soul. I want you to understand this deeply. Saying no is a sacred act. It's a way of honoring the spirit God breathed into you. It's saying, I am not less than, I am not invisible, I am worthy. And when you live in that truth, no narcissist can pull you down. Now, I want to ask you, how many times have you stayed silent when your spirit screamed no? How many times have you sacrificed your peace just to keep the peace for someone else? Today, I'm challenging you to break that cycle. To start small if you have to, but start saying no. Say no to what drains you, to what disrespects you, to what tries to diminish you. Because your no isn't just a word, it's a declaration of your freedom. It's the first step in reclaiming your spirit. It's the key to stepping out of the shadow of manipulation and into the light of your own power. So I ask you right now, who here is ready to say no? Who is ready to put up those spiritual boundaries and stand firm in their worth? Because when you do, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating a life of peace, dignity, and power that no one can take away. And that no, my friend, is where your true victory begins. You know, one of the greatest challenges a woman faces when battling a narcissist isn't just the outside manipulation. It's losing sight of who she truly is. The narcissist has this way of making you doubt yourself so deeply, you start to forget your own name, your own worth, your own story. They want you to believe that your identity is wrapped up in their approval or their rejection. And that's a trap, a spiritual trap that can leave you feeling lost and empty. But hear me when I say this: your identity is not found in their gaze or their words. It's rooted far deeper, in a place no narcissist can touch. See, the moment you start defining yourself by someone else's distorted view, you give them power over your soul. You become a reflection of their ego instead of the masterpiece you were created to be. That's why reclaiming your identity is not just an option, it's a necessity. It's a fight for the truth of who you really are. You've got to remember that you are a beloved child of the Most High. Created with intention, with purpose, with immeasurable worth. No one can take that away from you, not even the darkest words or the cruelest manipulation. Your identity is anchored in something eternal, something unshakable. And when you hold on to that, you hold on to your power. Now, I know what it feels like to be torn down, to hear the lies whispered over and over until they start sounding like truth. You're not good enough. You'll never be loved. You're broken. Those lies can stick like glue if you let them. But they're just that, lies. And the first step in breaking free is to recognize them for what they are. Reclaiming your identity means looking in the mirror and seeing beyond the surface. It means speaking truth over yourself when the world tries to shout lies. It means reminding yourself every day that your value doesn't depend on anyone's approval. Your worth isn't measured by their love or their neglect. This is spiritual work, my friend. It's about realigning your soul with the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you have gifts and talents and a story that matters. When you reconnect with that, you start to walk differently. You carry yourself with a new kind of confidence, one that isn't arrogant, but rooted in a deep knowing of who you are. And when you embrace your true identity, you begin to see the narcissist's power over you begin to crumble. Because they thrive on keeping you confused, doubting, shrinking. But when you stand firm in your identity, you become unshakable. You become a force of light in the midst of darkness. It's also important to realize that reclaiming your identity is not a one-time event. It's a journey. Some days you'll feel strong and sure, and other days the doubts will creep back in. But that's okay. Healing and rediscovery aren't linear. They take time. What matters is that you keep moving forward, keep speaking truth over yourself, keep holding on to your worth. You might wonder how to begin this journey. Start by spending time in reflection, whether it's through prayer, journaling, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts. Ask yourself, who am I beyond what they've told me? What do I believe about myself? What do I want to believe? Then begin to fill your mind and heart with those truths. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your value, those who see the real you and celebrate it. Because identity isn't just about what you say to yourself. It's also about the mirrors you hold up around you. Choose those mirrors wisely, and don't be afraid to seek help. Sometimes the wounds inflicted by a narcissist run deep, and you need guidance to unpack them. Whether it's a trusted friend, a spiritual mentor, or a counselor, reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. Remember, your identity is a gift from God. It's sacred. It's the foundation on which your entire life stands. When you reclaim it, you reclaim your story. You reclaim your joy. You reclaim your power. So I ask you today, who here is ready to see themselves as they truly are? Not as the world or a narcissist has tried to define you, but as a child of God, fearfully and wonderfully made, who here is ready to take back their identity and stand tall in their truth. Because once you do, nothing, and I mean nothing, can shake you. You ever notice how in the middle of a storm, the most powerful thing you can do is just pause and pray? When a woman is caught in the web of a narcissist's manipulation, prayer isn't just a nice idea. It becomes a lifeline. It's the moment where you connect with something bigger than yourself, something stronger than the chaos swirling around you. Prayer isn't just about asking for help. It's about finding clarity, strength, and peace in the midst of confusion. It's the weapon that no narcissist can disarm. See, the narcissist's power lies in deception, lies, and manipulation. They create a fog that makes it hard to see what's real and what's not. They twist words and actions until you question everything. Your feelings, your sanity, your reality. And when you're in that fog, it's easy to feel lost, overwhelmed, and alone. But prayer cuts through that fog like a sharp sword. It brings light to the darkness and truth to the lies. Prayer isn't just a ritual or a routine, it's a conversation. It's you speaking your pain, your fears, your confusion, and hearing back the voice of truth and love. And sometimes that voice doesn't come in a thunderclap or a big revelation. It comes quietly, softly, but powerfully enough to remind you who you are and where your strength lies. In prayer, you find discernment, that ability to see through the smoke and mirrors, to recognize manipulation for what it is, and to hold fast to your own truth. Prayer trains your spirit to recognize the difference between the lies whispered in your ear and the truth spoken to your heart. And that discernment is critical because it keeps you from being swallowed whole by the narcissist's deceit. You might be thinking, but I don't know how to pray. I don't even know if anyone is listening. And that's real. It's hard to believe when you're in the thick of the fight. But the very act of reaching out, even in the smallest way, invites a power into your life that can't be broken. Prayer doesn't have to be perfect words or fancy phrases. It's the honesty of your heart. It's the courage to say, I'm hurting. I'm lost. I need help. And when you say that, you're already stepping into your power. Prayer also brings peace. I'm not talking about a peace that means everything is suddenly easy or fixed. No, it's a peace that stands firm even when the storm rages. It's the kind of peace that holds you steady when lies try to shake your foundation. It's the peace that whispers, you are not alone. You are seen. You are loved. That peace is a refuge, a sanctuary where the narcissist noise can't reach. And here's the beautiful thing, prayer is not just about what you get from it. It's about what it does inside you. It changes your heart. It softens the fear, strengthens your resolve, and fills you with hope. It reminds you that you are not powerless, that you have a spirit that is unbreakable, because it is connected to something eternal. But prayer isn't something you do once and then forget about. It's a daily practice, a spiritual discipline. When you wake up, before you go to sleep, in moments of doubt, in moments of fear, you come back to prayer. It's your constant, your anchor. And every time you pray, you're building a fortress around your spirit that no narcissist can tear down. Now, let me be real with you. Prayer doesn't always change the situation overnight. The narcissist might still try to gaslight, to manipulate, to steal your peace. But prayer changes you. It strengthens you. It equips you to face the battle with a courage that the world can't understand. And when you combine prayer with action, setting boundaries, seeking support, guarding your heart, you become unstoppable. You become a woman who walks in her purpose, who stands firm in her faith, who refuses to be defined by someone else's brokenness. So I want to ask you right now, who here is ready to take up prayer as their weapon? Who is ready to let it be the light that guides them out of the darkness? Who is ready to connect with a power greater than any narcissist's control? Because when you do, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just fighting, you're winning. And that victory, my friend, starts with a prayer. You know, one of the hardest parts about facing a spiritual battle with a narcissist is the feeling that you have to carry it all alone. Like somehow you're the only one who's been hurt, the only one who's been manipulated, the only one who's standing in the storm. But let me tell you something, this fight was never meant to be walked alone. We were made for community. We were made to support each other, to lift each other up when the weight gets heavy. Because the truth is, you are stronger when you don't stand alone. See, narcissists want isolation. They want to cut you off from your support system, from those who love you and see your worth. Why? Because when you're isolated, you become vulnerable. Your spirit weakens. You start to believe the lies they tell you about yourself, and you lose sight of your own power. But when you reach out, when you find those trusted friends, mentors, or spiritual guides, you build a fortress around your heart and spirit that no narcissist can break through. Now, I know reaching out isn't always easy. Sometimes you feel shame, fear, or doubt. You wonder if anyone will understand, if anyone will believe you, or if you'll just be judged. But real support is rooted in love, in faith, and in truth. When you find those people, you find safe ground. You find the strength to say, I don't have to do this alone. A community is like a healing balm for the soul. It reminds you that you're not crazy, not weak, not alone. It reminds you of who you really are. Sometimes just hearing someone say, I see you, I believe you, you're not alone, can be enough to shift the entire battle. That support gives you a mirror reflecting your true worth when the narcissist's mirror only shows distortion. And it's not just about emotional support either. Spiritual mentors or counselors can offer wisdom and guidance that help you navigate the confusing, painful waters of manipulation. They can teach you how to protect your spirit, how to set boundaries, how to pray with power and purpose. They help you develop the spiritual armor you need to stand firm. Remember, the battle might feel overwhelming, but with support, it becomes manageable. The strength of one can only go so far, but the strength of many can move mountains. When you walk this path with others, you're not just surviving, you're growing, healing, and reclaiming your power together. So I ask you, who here feels the weight of carrying this fight alone? Who's ready to reach out to lean on those who can help carry the load? Because healing, freedom, and victory are found not in isolation, but in community. And that community, that support, that love, that is part of your spiritual armor. You know, healing is often misunderstood. We tend to think it's a quick fix, a moment where the pain suddenly disappears and everything feels whole again. But real healing, especially after walking through the battle of a narcissist's manipulation, is not a destination, it's a journey. And that journey is full of ups and downs, victories and setbacks, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. Sometimes you'll feel like you've made a breakthrough. You'll stand a little taller, speak a little clearer, and feel a spark of hope rise inside you. And other times, it might feel like the old wounds are fresh all over again, the doubts creep back in, and the weight feels just as heavy as ever. That's the reality of healing. It's not linear, and it's not neat. But here's the thing, every step forward matters. Every small victory counts. Every moment you choose to believe in your worth, every time you refuse to be defined by the past, every prayer you offer for strength is a brick in the foundation of your healing. You may not see it right away, but those bricks build a fortress that no narcissist can ever tear down. Healing is also about patience with yourself. You may have moments of frustration or even despair, wondering why the pain lingers. But patience is a form of faith. It's trusting that the process, no matter how slow or painful, is working. It's knowing that even when you can't see it yet, transformation is taking place deep in your spirit. And healing means forgiveness, not necessarily for the person who hurt you, but for yourself. Forgiving yourself for any mistakes, for any moments you felt weak or lost. Forgiving yourself for the times you doubted your strength. Forgiveness frees you from the chains of bitterness and resentment that keep you tied to the past. You might wonder how to keep going when the healing feels slow or invisible. The answer lies in holding on to hope. Hope is the lifeline that keeps you moving forward when the road is rough. Hope reminds you that your story isn't over, that there's a new chapter waiting to be written. And faith fuels that hope, anchoring you in the truth that you are made to overcome. Surround yourself with reminders of your progress. Celebrate the small wins, the days when you feel peace, the moments when you choose love over fear. Those are victories. They are proof that healing is happening, even if the journey feels long. And remember, you don't have to carry this journey alone. Healing grows stronger in community. When you share your story, when you seek support, when you lean on those who care for you. Together, you can walk the path toward wholeness, lifting each other when the way gets hard. So I want to ask you, who here is willing to commit to this journey of healing? Who is ready to be patient with themselves, to celebrate every step forward, to hold on to hope even when the night feels long? Because healing isn't just possible, it's promised. And your spirit is made to rise. You know, one of the most powerful truths you can hold on to in the middle of a spiritual battle is this: no one, no narcissist, no voice of doubt, no shadow of fear can hold you down unless you let them. Your spirit was made to rise. It was created to overcome, to break free, and to soar above the noise that tries to drown it out. When you embrace that truth, you tap into a power that is unstoppable. A narcissist will try everything to keep you small. They want you to believe that you're powerless, that you'll never break free, that you'll always be trapped in their web of control. But you have a fire inside you, an unquenchable flame that no one can put out. That fire is your faith, your identity, your courage. It's the part of you that refuses to be broken. You might feel beaten down, drained, confused. That's real. But it's also temporary. Because when you choose to rise, you choose to say no more to the lies and manipulation. You choose to walk in the light of your true self, in the strength that comes from knowing who you are and whose you are. This rising isn't about revenge or bitterness. It's about reclaiming your life and your joy. It's about stepping out of the shadow of the narcissist's control and into the light of your own power. It's about knowing that your future is not dictated by their past actions, but by your own courage and faith. And let me tell you something, rising takes courage. It takes faith. It takes perseverance. But it is possible, and it is worth it. Because when you rise, you not only free yourself, but you also inspire others who are watching, who are struggling, who need to see that victory is real. So I want to ask you today, who here is ready to rise? Who is ready to stand tall in the face of every lie, every attempt to hold you down? Who is ready to embrace the power that God has placed inside them to overcome? Because when you rise, you become unstoppable. You become a beacon of hope. You become a living testimony that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And that, my friend, is victory. Now, as we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to carry this with you. Your battle is real, but so is your power. You have been created with a spirit that cannot be broken, a heart that can be guarded, and a voice that must be heard. Remember that saying no is not just a word. It's a stand. Remember who you are beyond the shadows, and never forget that prayer is your lifeline, community your strength, and healing your journey. Most of all, know that rising is your destiny. So I ask you right now, in this moment, are you ready to step into that power? Are you ready to walk out of the darkness and into the light of your true self? Because when you do, nothing can hold you back. This is your time. This is your victory. Who here is ready to claim it?